Oh, when you sit down between the sheepshed, to drive further up north between the sheepshed. Hello everyone, today we are exploring Isle of Skye for 2 days, doing the northern part, the western part, exploring the ultimate things here to do on Isle of Skye in Scotland. In this video I'm going to show you the ultimate road trip to Isle of Skye. Before we got to Isle of Skye, we stayed one night in Glasgow, where we explored the beautiful looking university and then rented a car from the airport. This allowed us to stay another night in the Highlands, near the famous lake Loch Ness. Whilst we didn't see any famous sea monsters, we saw beautiful lakes, the cute little town Fort William with its many locks. And then it is time to enter Isle of Skye, where we'll explore the southern part first, with a first spot at the famous ferry pools, where we learn some practical tips about travelling in summer through this island. The ferry pools, it costs you £6 to park here, but I think this conversation deserves a two-way conversation, because we have here the nature lover me, who loves this kind of area and the water streaming down, and just as someone else passed by, according to her, the most beautiful place that she's ever seen in her whole life. I wouldn't go that far, but it's a really nice place to visit on Isle of Skye. But on the other side of the camera, where the mosquitoes and midges are getting in, what do you think of this area? So unfortunately, the midges interrupted us during our visit to the ferry pools. Something you can't avoid unfortunately between May and September, because they are everywhere. Before that interruption, I think she said this area is alright, but the further up we go, we finally discovered Scotland's midges. And be aware when you're here, take some anti-mosquito spray or DEET or whatever you can find, because these are, or mask, because then you can cover yourself, because these are really annoying, and even if you walk a little bit slow, they stick on you, and they have to sting a lot. We had it last time when we were in Scotland as well, but it's getting quite bad again. We didn't have them, but be prepared for them. If you want to visit the ferry pools, you can park at the car park for £6, or a bit higher up is a free place to park as well. At the end of the road you will find a beach where you can have a quick look as well. But most importantly, if you are on Isle of Skye during lunchtime, don't forget to visit the Oyster Shed. For all the seafood fans out there, you have to visit the Oyster Shed on Isle of Skye. It's very affordable, you have a lovely view, you pay £12 for a dozen of oysters, we paid £20 for a grilled lobster, and I don't know the exact price, but we had some scallops, £8.50 from some scallops as well. And it's a really lovely little shed with some other products that you can buy as well. You can take it home and then you just have a lovely view here in Isle of Skye. With the south now explored, it is time for a new day. A day where we'll explore the northern loop of the island. An area where we pass the cliffs, see some waterfalls and have our first real stop in a beautiful hiking area, the Quiraing. If you want to do this walk at the Quiraing, it takes you to this point, I think halfway, we're now here, 1.5 hours. And the full hike, they say, is 3 hours, till 4 hours, moderate hike. But the views, this is impressive. But let's start driving up for the north and continue our circle up around the northern part of Isle of Skye. The parking at the Quiraing will cost you £3 for 3 hours, which was enough for us to do part of a hike. If you don't stop as often as us to film and enjoy the beautiful view, you should be able to complete the full loop in just 3 hours. But from here, we will continue the loop, where we pass Duntulm Castle, originally built in the 14th and 15th century, when the area was subject to feuds between the rival MacLeod and MacDonald clans. The castle got reconstructed and expanded several times until it became abandoned in 1732. And now it is abandoned, but still giving you a beautiful sea views. A more folktale related place is the next place, Ferry Glen. We almost completed the whole northern loop part here on Isle of Skye, and we're now at Ferry Glen, where there's a stone circle in the middle where you can sing a song to the fairies. Then in the middle you can do a wish, walk backwards out of the circle without touching the stones, and maybe your wish comes through. Costs £2 to park here for 2 hours, and we're on top of Castle Ewan, the ferry castle. And what's this all about ferries? And I don't really believe in ferries, but this area looks like artificial, as if someone built it in the old time. Don't really know who did that or in what time period, but it looks pretty impressive. It looks like a park, but with the hills and the fact that it relates to ferries, it is also a strange way to think that people built this place. I'm still not sure who is maintaining this place in the current age. At least, I didn't see any ferries. And the only thing that was left is to leave the northern loop behind us and drive to the western part of the island. Here, we had a quick look over Dunvegan castles and gardens from the lake. But we didn't have much time of that because we were trying to catch the sunset at maybe the best place on the island to see it. If you have some time left and you want to finish your road trip on Isle of Skye in style with the best view you can imagine, go to Neist Viewpoint. From here you have the cliffs, but most importantly, sunset. Brilliantly. There's the lighthouse over there. And if you're here in summer, be prepared for midges again, but it's really gorgeous.